Hi there, this is Irina Barnett, and I love having conversations about life's defining moments and understanding human experiences. Moments That Define Us podcast is dedicated to healing the world one story, one defining moment at a time. So let's get into another conversation. Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Moments That Define Us. As you see, I'm in the new space. In a beautiful new space called Tree House Creator Workspace. Since this is the month of March and we are celebrating women, but as I always say, women should be celebrated every day. Today I'm talking about beauty. We're talking today about beauty, confidence, makeup, and uplifting women. So I would like to welcome to the podcast Kim Davis. She is the owner of Kim Clay Artistry with over 20 years in beauty industry.
Hi.
Kim, welcome to Moments That Define.
Thanks for having me.
Welcome to Moments That Define Us.
Thanks for having me.
How are you doing today?
I'm good. I'm excited.
I'm excited too. I was preparing for this episode and I was looking at different definition of beauty standards, what beauty is like in different countries. So you are a makeup artist, right? You have, as I said, over 20 years in the industry. So I wanted to start with this. What is your definition of beauty?
To me, beauty is like a natural thing. I think there's a confusion between pretty and beauty. I think those definitions get mixed up. Beauty is only skin deep. No, pretty is skin deep. Yeah. Beauty is something that comes from within. It's not, to me, something that you can really create or fabricate, I should say. You can create beauty, but you can't fake it. That's just pretty to me. So I don't know if there's an exact definition, but to me, beauty is natural. It's art. It's creating something from nothing and just bringing something to its full potential.
I like that. I like the difference between beauty and pretty, because you like pretty, it's almost artificial, not in the bad way, but it's almost artificial, right? Like we put makeup, we do our hair, we put ourselves together, so to speak,
it's
right?
It's more topical.
It is.
It's something you can wash away, but beauty, you can't wash beauty away.
Yeah.
But to me, pretty is temporary, it's changing, it's trendy. What we thought pretty was in the 90s was different in the early 2000s. Yeah. What was pretty in the 50s, but beauty is like timeless. You hear that timeless beauty, something very different than just pretty. And I think we strive for pretty instead of beauty.
Yeah. What was your idea of beauty growing up? Like as a kid, like if you can go back and think, what did you see growing up and what did you remember thinking, oh, that's beautiful, that's pretty, and how kind of that impacted you?
I think, ever since I was little, my sister and I would put on little performances. Oh. And we would make these little outfits out of my grandma's clothes. So she'd have these long, pleated skirts, and we'd make them dresses, and we'd put belts on, and we would walk the runway. But I never really thought about the side of it that was pretty. We would play with makeup, and we would do that. But it was the creativity of putting the outfits together. It was walking that runway. It wasn't until I was older that I realized there was this pressure to be pretty. Mm-hmm. And it probably started, I had a sister that was 5 years older than me. So probably around the time 6, 7, 6, 7.
I know. Isn't it? 6, 7.
I think it's so funny. But around the time I was, almost 8, I started to see more from my older sister, who's 13 by then. And I start noticing my mom and just noticing this unobtainable idea of beauty that I didn't understand, but it was here I am 8 years old, oh, I shouldn't eat that cookie. I was also overweight as a kid.
Yeah.
So there was this pressure. I think, from society, for my family to try to correct that. I don't know if it was necessarily like a standard for them, but more just like the society says, oh, you're supposed to be skinny, or you're supposed to be this, or you just hear diet culture. I mean, this was the 90s, so everybody was, grapefruit diet,
Oh my God.
Herbalife. I mean,
I know.
I was drinking Slim Fast by the time I was 13.
No.
So, it was this crazy idea that you had to be perfect. You go to the makeup counter at 13 and you learn how to do your makeup. You're having eating disorders by the time you're in middle school. So I don't know if I actually answered that question, but is it my idea of beauty switched over around like the 8-year-old mark. And then from there, it was this it was no longer really about beauty, but at the time it was called that. But looking back, it was just pretty.
It was pretty.
It wasn't about who you are. It wasn't about, what you do or the creativity you have. It's how do you look? Does your outfit match? Oh, your pants are too short. Yeah. I mean, these really ridiculous, small, minuscule things that you're just getting nitpicked about.
So much judgment.
So much.
And it's so frustrating because oftentimes it came from other women.
Yeah, it came from home.
It came from home.
Yeah. And we blame the media. We say, oh, it was the magazines, 17 magazine. It was Cosmopolitan. It was the TV. But it wasn't, because it started at home. It started in the home more than it started. If I would have never heard the women in my life say, oh, I'm so fat. Oh, I'm so ugly. I'm this, or, oh, I need to lose weight, or oh, I ate like a pig, or, you know what I mean? Or you hear them criticizing other people. You get that from home. I didn't get that from TV. Now, the standard probably came from TV that made those people in my life think those things about themselves. But really, where it really hit was hearing the people in your life say that. If the adult in your life says, oh, I'm so ugly. Well, that's part of your DNA.
Yeah.
So are you saying I'm ugly? Because that's what you're hearing, is that, well, if they're not good enough, then I must not be good enough.
Yeah, but it's interesting what you said, because and I don't know if you felt like that, when you look at on whoever is on TV or in magazines, you're like, well, they are famous, right? So for them, it's different. But then when you hear that at home, it's like, they are kind of my people, that I see every day. Those people are famous, they're on TV, they have access to stuff. But if my people saying that, then what does it say about me? And I wonder, so you mentioned from 8 years old. Oh my gosh, I'm thinking, my daughter is now 8, right? Yeah. And she's starting, thank God, she's not on social media, anything, but they have friends. They go out into the world. They go to school. They go to different, activities and stuff. And they hear other girls, right, talking about this unattainable beauty. But I wonder, when did it start clicking for you that, no, I am beautiful, despite of what they say? Kind of, when did you start build that confidence and feeling like, no, I'm beautiful how I am, despite of what, what I hear at home?
I don't think I felt that as a kid. I think I actually didn't feel that until I had a daughter of my own. I think my idea of, I had already had an idea of beauty, and I talked about it, and I would, I've gone on different, I've had different speaking engagements, or I've been on a radio show talking about how fashion influences beauty and these unobtainable goals, and just not understanding the industry, right? And I could say those things, but I don't think I ever felt beautiful. I had gone through weight loss, and I've done all these things, and I never really felt beautiful. And then something clicked when I had my daughter, because I was like, oh, I don't want her to think this. I've said this, I've preached this, but now I have to kind of live it because my daughter's beautiful. Yeah. And I think that's probably when I started to realize beauty and pretty were two different things also. And then I started to accept you're beautiful because it's not about a physical thing. Because when I take my makeup off, I'm still me, right? I get treated differently. And I think some of it's probably your own psychology, like your own psychological things. But I do feel like there's a difference in the way I can be treated when I go into a store fully made up, or if I go in there in sweats and a ponytail.
So true.
But then I realized that's about them and not me. But I don't think it really hit me until I had my daughter.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
It's something, I think something happens when we have daughters. Because especially, what you mentioned, what you heard at your house, right? And you probably thought, I don't want to do the same to my daughter because it took me so long to feel that. What do you think about the expression? I was actually talking to my husband that you also know, beauty standard, right? And I was like, what do you think when you think about beauty standard? And so he gave me kind of his idea. But I started thinking and funny, like he said, when somebody sets a standard that's mean this is the ideal thing and everybody should look like this, look up to this thing. What comes to mind when you think about beauty standard? What is the beauty standard? Like, it drives me crazy, but I wanted to hear your thoughts.
I think in society, there's a beauty standard, and there's my idea of what beauty standard.
What do you think? And we can talk about like the States because that's where we live. What do you think? Because I read the definition yesterday, what the beauty standard is in like United States and all different countries. But what do you think the beauty standard is in America, in United States?
Currently, I feel like it's plastic surgery.
Yeah.
I feel like the standard is not really obtainable naturally.
Yeah.
I think there's this idea of not looking almost human.
I know.
Like, we don't want texture. We want everything Photoshop. I mean, the beauty standard is an Instagram filter. That's what a beauty standard is. You put an Instagram filter on, you see everybody do it. Sometimes I don't even know what people look like. I know. And it makes me sad because I've met people and they're beautiful, right? I don't recognize them because they look like the same filter everyone else is wearing.
Yeah.
So I would say that is the beauty standard, is whatever the popular filter is.
Yeah.
But it's always, a celebrity, usually a celebrity that doesn't have much to say and are easily manipulated or easily, like they shapeshift almost. I think part of it goes with capitalism. I think capitalism plays a huge role. So that's why I think you see these big leaps, because by the time everybody conforms to something, well, now we got to make more money. So now we got to go this way. So I think really beauty standards are more based on like ideas in capitalism than actually what people want to look like. So I think it's kind of a confusing area.
Yeah.
But definitely like now people are like big lips, high cheekbones, but all done cosmetically.
I know. People look unrecognizable. Either that's plastic surgery or that is different weight loss thing. And I wonder how you feel about this, because I always, as a woman, I always say, whatever makes you happy, right? Whatever makes you happy. But also on the other hand, especially people who are, on social media, who have big platform, they promoting, like, no matter what you say, it's like, well, don't look, if you don't want to look like me, then don't follow me, whatever. But you have following, you have women, girls who are looking up to you. And I don't know, I always struggle between like, do what makes you happy, because
but I don't feel like it makes them happy.
You think?
Because a lot of times, someone says they have a nose, they are really unhappy with their nose. They've had this thing their whole life. I totally get that.
Yeah.
I totally get it. Maybe you were teased as a kid. Maybe it's just you just don't feel comfortable in that way. I understand that. The problem is when people start playing on their face, they don't tend to stop. So where do we draw that line? When do we stop? I'm not against people doing things to make themselves feel better, but I think a lot of people are chasing something that's outwardly they're not going to be able to get because it's something inside that they're struggling with. Because I'll see people, their faces will transform. You'll look back and be like,
it's not you.
who are you?
Who are you?
And it's kind of scary. One time I had this epiphany, and I was looking in the mirror, and I thought to myself, it would be so weird if I woke up and looked in the mirror and I was someone else. No. And there's a TV show about this, and it was very on time for this.
Was it
interview.
botched?
It's called The Beauty.
Oh, okay. So,
and you know, you finish this process and you look in the mirror and you don't look like you. That is crazy to me. Like,
it's scary.
I would be so weirded out if I this like some Freaky Friday stuff, right? And I can't imagine looking in the mirror and not being me. You know, I've had weight loss, but you gradually lose weight, you know? It doesn't just come off overnight. So you're like slowly easing into who you are, but doing something like that, it's like you look like a different person every month or every year.
Yeah.
And then just where's the end? Are you chasing perfection? And that's not something you can get. And I think that's a question people should ask themselves when they are going that route. Because you should do what makes you happy. Mm-hmm. But the problem is a lot of times I don't think people are getting happy. Mm-hmm. They're just waiting for the next thing, to do the next thing, to do the next thing. Yeah. And by, 5 years down the road, they look unrecognizable. Even if they look beautiful, it's like you were already beautiful. Like you were perfectly made.
I don't think that what we see on TV, what's being sold to us, it doesn't promote like natural, and I don't mean natural beauty as in like without makeup, but like we are beautiful, right? It's you're right, it's that consumerism culture. And I finished reading a book by Bell Hooks, All About Love, and she talks, there is this specific sentence that she say, and I'm paraphrasing, but basically what's being sold to us, the message is whatever you don't have, whatever you need to make you happy, you can buy. Like what you can throw money on it and it will make you happy. Like and I always think like it's just like that temporary happiness, right? Mm-hmm. And then, but actually what happens when you take that makeup? What happens when you I don't know, like when you take whatever the medication you take and then you stop and you back, are you still going to be happy? So it's this like area to where like I agree with you, like if something like wasn't, you were being teased for whatever, but you still you, right? But then when it goes too far, and you no longer you know?
And there has to be some psychological backlash with that.
I think so.
You know what I mean?
So
like
too.
There has to be something, because you keep chasing the next high. It's like chasing the next high. It's almost like an addiction at a certain point. Mm-hmm. And it's like addictions come from trauma.
Yeah.
Right? People that are addicted to things always have some kind of trauma. And so where I think people finding out what that trauma is, when they start going that far, they probably need to stop and find out, what is it that's making me think I need this? Mm. I've never met someone that was extremely beautiful that was any happier than someone that had never cared about beauty. Yeah. And I think I've actually met people that care the least about beauty, and some of them are the most happy people I've ever seen. And it's like, so are we even chasing happiness at this point? Because it doesn't feel like there's ever happiness, in extreme cases especially.
Yeah. Happiness, joy, acceptance, I don't know.
That's beauty though.
Yeah.
That's beauty.
So now I want to talk a little bit about makeup and women you interact with. And I wonder, because you've done so many different things. So you do makeup for, actually, can you talk a little bit about your business for a second? And then I wanted to go back to the question that I have, what kind of makeup do you do? Who is hiring you and what have you done? Because you have over 20 years in the business.
Well, I guess I can kind of start from where I started. Mm-hmm. So I was, like I said, in my teens, I was, started doing my makeup when I was 13. I do my friend's makeup. I had my first son when I was 19, and I kind of started doing makeup from there. So it's 2002. And I started kind of doing makeup on other people. I joined Mary Kay because I was like, I don't know what to do. I mean, remember, this is 2002. We had MAC. And that was about it. And I have a little one, so I'm not trying to work at, there's no way I'm going to be able to work at a counter. I know makeup, but I'm not really sure what to do. So I buy all the books. I start doing Mary Kate, honestly, just to build my kit. And I start kind of playing with makeup. I'm doing stuff for friends for photo shoots and stuff like that. And then when we relocate to Colorado Springs, I'm like, no, I need to take this to the next level. I really want to do photo shoots. So I start working for Sephora. I help open a Sephora store as just an employee. And I start doing makeup more. My first big job was burlesque dancers.
Nice.
Which was so fun because I'm going to be honest, I did not know how to put fake lashes on anyone. And you have to learn real quick. And they're not those little baby lashes. These, feather lashes, rainbow lashes. Just fun, crazy makeup. And I loved it. And I was like, okay, this is what I want to do. So I start doing that. And then I get into photo shoots and I realize this is what I love, but I love creativity. And then you realize that's not where you're going to make money. And there's a difference. There's like high glam, there's fantasy makeup, and then there is enhancing someone's features. And over time, I realized enhancing features is really what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
And the fantasy stuff is fun because it's fantasy. When you're doing it, you're not saying, I'm not good enough, I have to change something. You're literally having fun and being creative.
Yeah.
And glam is fun sometimes, but I loved the idea of taking someone and showing them, hey, this is how everybody already sees you. All these enhancements I'm doing, people already do that in their mind for you. Let me show you how to do it, or let me do that for you. So I really got into doing family picture makeup, pictures for headshots, beauty work. I did some weddings, which I'm out of that industry, but I did weddings for a while. So living in Japan, that's where I really took off. Before I even got there, I started booking things. I had music videos. I had photo shoots. And I really... In Japan.
Okay.
And so I'd say my clientele was about 50-50. I had my American clientele because I was there through my ex-husband, through the military. So I was there as a American citizen. But I also was able to meet a local modeling acting agency. And so I got to work with the locals too. And so I got to really work with so many with locals and other cultures. I had a contract with a resort and I would have weddings. They would have weddings come in and I was doing brides from China and Taiwan and Ukrainian brides. And
wow.
Yeah, people would fly there to get, and that was like a destination wedding spot.
Where did you live in Japan?
Okinawa.
Okay.
And it was wonderful. It was the best experience. I even got to go back twice, once for a fashion show and once for a music video. So it's so dear to my heart. I wish I could go back there. One day I will go back and visit. But it was such I think that's where I really started to see a change in we have such an idea in Western culture or in American culture of what beauty is. And then being there, I learned, what the Japanese liked in beauty. And it was very different. It was very skin focused, actually. And
tell me more, because
Yeah.
that was one of my questions about Japan. But what did you see that was the difference between American beauty culture and, I don't want to use the word standard, but let's use it, standard, and how Japanese view beauty and pretty and the standards that they have there?
Yeah. One thing I did notice, and this is in a lot of cultures, is lightening your skin.
Okay.
A lot of cultures like to lighten their skin. Now, Okinawa was a little different than mainland Japan. There wasn't such a heavy emphasis on that. But there, you see a lot of people walk around with umbrellas or hats that cover their face. And it is very hot there. I learned very quickly to wear sunscreen. But there was this idea that fair, very light skin, and just porcelain skin, really.
Okay.
But it wasn't so much contouring. There was contouring, but it was more the eye shape. It did feel like there were some times where there was influences from Western culture, but it had a different look to it.
Okay.
But I noticed it was very different, and it seemed more fun. It seemed more like not a task. It seemed more like a hobby or a passion more than it was like, oh, I have to look this way because if I don't, I'm not pretty. It seemed more like it was just a joy to do it.
Like I want to.
Yeah, I want to do it, not because I need
like,
to.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of where my idea was, no one needs makeup. It's fun, but you don't need it. It's not a necessity. And I think when it becomes a need, you lose the fun in it. And it takes away from the beauty because now you're not really enjoying it. When I put my makeup on, I enjoy doing it or I just don't wear it.
Yeah.
If it feels like a task, I'm not going to wear it. Because I'm forcing myself to do it. And for what? For who?
You know, Kim, it took me a long time to get to this place that you just described. I am enjoying it, but I don't need it. For the longest time, I was covering up because, like, when I was a teenager, I didn't have acne when I was a teenager, which I don't know how that happened, but they came to visit when I was an adult, which was not great, right? So there was a time where I didn't feel beautiful, where I didn't feel pretty, right? And so I always had to like cover up. And it was exhausting.
Yeah.
Because when you said it, it brought me back to the time and I was like, oh my gosh, it was exhausting because there was a time in my life when I was a nanny. So I was taking care of the kids and I had to put makeup as if kids, or if I worked for the nicest families, nobody was judging me. It was, and again, to your point earlier, a lot of the times it's we put that on ourselves, and I didn't feel that. But now I'm in the point where like, I wear it because I like it. And I even told you before we started recording that I wanted to learn how to do different things because it's fun now to me, But yeah, it took me a long freaking time to feel like, who am I trying to impress?
Yeah.
Like, I think a lot of the times we think in our head that people care so much about us, but it's like, no, everybody's trying to live and survive. Like, it's a lot of it comes from us. But
a lot of it comes from consumerism too.
It does.
I mean, even you have to think about it. Who are the plastic surgeons? They're men. 98%, I think. 93 to 98% of plastic surgeons are men. 93%, so 93% of the clientele is women. So we're not telling each other what's beauty.
Yeah.
Someone else is telling us what's beauty. And then you have the TV, and most of those companies are owned by men, telling us how to do it. And I don't even think it's necessarily a beauty thing. I think it's more like they know we'll spend the money. They know we'll spend the money. So, why not get these beauty standards and change these ideas and do it all the time and shove it down your throat so that you say, I'm not pretty enough, I have to buy this. I really think part of it comes from us, and part of it is what we're consuming. We spend all day on Instagram, scrolling, seeing people sell you another dress that you'll probably never wear, buy another makeup product. I mean, influencers. I am not an influencer. I never want to be one. And one of the things I tell people is half the stuff they're putting on their face, they don't need. But guess what? A brand sent it to them. So you got to put it there because, you got a PR package. So let's add 10 more layers. And what's great is let me put this link so that you can go buy this product. You'll save 15%. I'll get a kickback, even though you don't really need it. And so it's just this endless cycle of other people telling us we're not good enough and us being more susceptible to it because of when we were younger, what we were hearing. And so it's very systemic.
It really is. It really is like, but like what you said about, the plastic surgeon and who they are and who is head of companies. Yeah, it's not there by mistake.
No,
it's not there by mistake. I wanted to read something I read about you because you were saying how were you trying to see where you fit in kind of in the makeup industry, and you said something that I really like, that you celebrate the individual style of each client and bring inherent beauty that lies within. You have that personality to where like you are like your sister, you are woman's woman or girl's girl, like you uplift women. And so I really like that reading that about you. When you do makeup, when women come to you, what's some of the things you hear that women tell you when you do makeup?
I hear a lot of, oh, these lines under my eyes, and make me look skinnier, get rid of my double chin. And it's
Can
like,
you do that?
I mean, you can shadow it. I mean, I can't get rid of it. Sometimes I want to tell people, like, I'm not a plastic surgeon and you don't need plastic surgery. You know, but I can't.
I'm just curious,
change things.
Kim.
I mean, there are things you can do. There are ways you can manipulate the face. There are ways you can shadow.
Yeah,
I mean,
of
if
course.
you put stuff here, it's going to shadow it, right?
Yeah.
So it's going to change it. But I mean, if you stick a light underneath, it's not going to make
You
a
know
difference.
why I asked? Because it's much cheaper than do plastic
Right,
surgery.
right. And see, there are ways you can make things slimmer.
Right.
But the thing with the under eyes, when people are like, oh, there's lines under my eyes, babies have lines under their eyes. I know. Everybody has lines. There's nobody that doesn't have lines under their eyes. They're there. You know, you can't avoid it. But I think we just have this unrealistic idea of we need to be perfect and that makeup can do that.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, sometimes it can't. I can even things out. I can't change texture. And a lot of these things are things people have to do in skincare.
Yeah.
And actually not what makeup's going to do. I don't know if I actually answered that, but
You did. You did.
But most of the time it's like things that I wouldn't even have noticed. Oh, I hate my nose. What's wrong with your nose? You know?
And
it's your nose.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to change your nose. Yeah, there's things we do. Like, of course, I still, take a little bit of like bronzer or contour right here, but not to change the shape of my nose, to keep the shape, because here I am taking all the definition to enhance. Yeah. And I think that's the thing is I think we should focus more on enhancing what we like instead of focusing on what we don't like.
Isn't it crazy how in life we always, whatever it is, we always like what we don't like, what we don't have, what we haven't achieved. Just always focusing on what there is not of.
100 5-star reviews, 1 1-star review. Oh my God, the world.
And that is the main one.
And that's how I feel,
Yeah.
And it's like, but I had 100 people say beautiful things about me.
Yeah.
And one person give me a 1-star review. And I'm focusing on that. Who's someone I never even met.
Who gave you that review? We're going to find her.
This person was never even a client. But I mean, and I think I've probably had another one somewhere. But at the end of the day, it's like that one bad review.
And we focus on that.
Somehow it like felt like it just undid 100 great reviews. And, and I had to realize that. And it hurts, you're like.
Of course it does. We are humans.
Yeah, like, what do you mean you didn't like the way I answered your email? Like, you got to be perfect.
Right.
But I don't know. It's like why we have to focus on that. I don't know.
I used to work with this girl, and she would tell me she dated this guy, and she said every morning I would wake up before him. I put my alarm, would wake up before him to put my makeup on, so he never has to see me without makeup. And I was like, and that kind of like back the question, what are we really covering up?
Right.
If the person you love, and now I don't know if they were living together or not, but like that's, when you date somebody, you want them to love you for who you are, for your beauty and not for but it was wild to me. I was like, speaking of,
I've heard that from a lot of women.
Yes.
And I'm just like, one, that sounds exhausting. I like to sleep. Like I said, if I don't feel like doing my makeup today, I am fine with that. Let me get those extra 10 minutes of sleep. Plus, I'm there to I'm there to make their makeup, not mine.
Exactly. But yeah, it is wild, right?
Wild.
It's just,
I couldn't imagine.
No.
I also couldn't imagine anything a man would do in an equivalent way.
I know.
So why are we holding ourselves to this standard that they probably don't even care? I'll be honest. I'm sure my husband half the time like doesn't even notice if I'm wearing makeup or not. Like it's not like he's like waiting to see if I have it on.
Yeah.
And honestly,
did you put your bronzer on today, honey? I don't see it on your face.
Your cheekbones don't look as high today. Like, never.
Yeah, but again, because to that point, I mean, I don't know if those same question, but there are men who would tell this to women, right? Like, oh, you
Yeah.
got to put your makeup on. You don't look as pretty,
Yeah, don't be with them.
Exactly. Don't be with them.
Sorry, don't be with
Run
them.
away.
Why?
Because
Yeah, because where does it end? That like then what happens in 5 years? And what if you become allergic to makeup?
yeah.
What if, you know what I'm saying? Like these things to me, it's like, that's why it's so important to like love yourself because you don't know. You could all of a sudden develop an allergy and can't wear makeup anymore. And now what happens to your relationship?
I know. Which is why you have to find a person that loves you for who you are without makeup, just for the beauty inside of you.
Yeah.
Okay, Kim. So since we are in the month of March and we are celebrating us and all the women that came before us, the women that opened the door for us, so we have access to things and all of that. So I wonder, what are some of the women either that are in your life or women, like historical figures that inspire and influence you?
Definitely, I have some amazing women in my life.
You do. And hold on before you answer. Kim, again, she is girl's girl. Every party you go to, there's all these women that talk so great about her. So I think that you are a true definition of sisterhood. Continue.
Thank you. I think it's really important. I mean, who else is going to relate to you? Just like my husband, he has to have men to relate to, right?
Yeah.
Like you have to have someone that's going to push you within the same sex, like that says, hey, I can do this, you can do it. Let's do this together. Let me push you. And so the women in my life are like that. I have so many great friends. I have a really great tight-knit group, and a larger group as well. But there's 5 of us and we're there to help each other. If we see someone struggling, we talk to them, Another thing is we love each other so deeply that we will come to each other with an issue. Which I had to learn because we don't learn that, I think it's something that I had to develop later, and I had to learn from the women in my life that, hey, this conflict between us, let's not just act like there's not an issue. Let's talk about it.
Yeah.
Oh, you're feeling this way? Hey, let's talk about why you felt that way. And, is there anything to it? And there's no judgment. And I think that's a huge part of it is we take out that judgment because we've judged so much already.
We do.
Right? So we have to surround ourselves with people that are going to encourage us and push us to grow. In the last 2-3 years now, I have been pushed so much further out of my comfort zone into more success.
Yeah.
I'm able to service my clients better because I have these women in my life that have shown me love and beauty within themselves. It's funny, most of my girlfriends, I don't think any of us wear makeup on a daily basis.
Yeah.
And my girls are successful.
have
Sometimes I have to not discount myself because I'm like, I'm just a makeup artist, which I know I'm not. But that's how dope they are. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, oh man, one of them is a city councilwoman. I mean, how cool is that, right?
Yeah.
And one of them has been an editor, a journalist. I mean, she's just an amazing woman. She kind of brought us all together. Another one does PR and she does event planning, and she also runs a department at the Discovery Center, and then you have my other friend who's an author and she's about to get her master's in therapy.
My goodness.
These are the women I'm with, and they are so beautiful. They're pretty. They are pretty, but they are beautiful women. And not just with me, just in the community. All of them are active in the community. And to me, I just see them, the more I know them, the more beautiful they get to me. And they're the same way with other people. And I think through that, it's helped me become just a better woman in general. And it's helped me. They've really helped me see that my values and that my core beliefs are realistic. And there's really women out there, and most women want that. And you see that through their confidence. And I don't know, it just changes your whole brain chemistry, I feel like.
It does. It's so important to have amazing women that can tell you the truth, that can say, hey, cut the shit, like, calm down. Or they can say, no, you are good enough, you can do it, to take you out of your comfort zone. No, you can reach for that. That's not too much, you not too much. Like, it's incredible because, yeah, like, you know, it is important to also have, like, you know, good partners, good husbands, whatever, around us. But women just provide that extra layer of just love and support that we need. So when I hear, you know, when there's like fights between women or women putting other women down, I'm like, why? For what? We already, just as women as a whole, already deal with so much as a whole, right? So why one to another? Why do we do that? Like, why do we do that?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I think there's a scarcity mindset also, and it's not just material. It's like, I don't know why we have this idea that there's not enough love.
Oh, yeah.
Like, there's not enough love. That's crazy. Do you know how much love there is to give? We have, like, I don't feel like we have a cap on how much love we can give.
I know.
We stop ourselves, but that's putting our own cap on. But it's limitless. And I don't know, there's just like scarcity. And there's this idea that we can't trust other women. But it's like, that's only because we think we can't trust other women. We have to show each other that. And I think when we stop comparing ourselves to each other, I think that's when you you get those friendships and you get that sisterhood, is when you realize that there's no scarcity.
Yeah, because it's like, instead of comparing, like, oh, she thinks she's so much better or whatever, she already started this, so I can do this. No, instead of like learning from one another.
Yeah.
Because
let it motivate you.
Like, if you are a makeup artist and somebody comes to you and say, hey, I want to start this, like, okay, like, listen, this is what worked for me, this is what I've done. Like, if we help one another and uplift one another, then like everybody wins.
Yeah, I am a huge, like, I think gatekeeping is one of the corniest things in the world. Like, I don't have a better word for it. It's corny.
Yeah.
Like, why? Why? You want to know? Oh, you like that lipstick? Don't compliment my shoes, because I'm going to tell you where I got them and how much.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, I got these at Ross. They were $12.99. I know, because the sticker's still inside.
Ross too.
Yeah.
Probably under $20.
Yeah, I think these were on
Get
clearance.
yourself some shoes, ladies.
But like, I would never, like, you know, people are like, oh, I don't remember. No, I'm going to tell you. Now I'm going to say, I got this at a thrift store. But I saw one on Macari a couple weeks ago. You know, like, I will sit there and literally try to find it for someone.
Yeah.
I just never understood, like, gatekeeping or not sharing information or making people have to work harder because, oh, I worked harder. Mm-hmm. Why do I want you to have to go through what I went through? That is something, and just in general in society, why we want people to struggle. Because if I can help someone not struggle,
yeah,
dude, that is like
paying it forward.
Oh my gosh. Do you know how good that feels to be like, oh, I'm so glad you didn't have to do that because it sucked.
But you know, not a lot of people think like that. And like, some of us are opening the door for others, right? Mm-hmm. We walk through them, but we open, so then the next generation don't have to. Like, when we look back in history, how many women, I mean, it's crazy because now I feel like we're kind of to square one, but you know, the rights that women didn't have, the women couldn't vote, the women couldn't get credit card under their name.
Can't have a bank account.
Right? And now other women that we are now stand on their shoulders open that for us.
Yeah.
So hopefully we don't lose that, right?
Right.
But
not if I can help.
Right? But like,
yeah.
Don't be like this. Support other women.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Kim. So what is in store for the future for you? You said, which I didn't know that you no longer in wedding industry. You don't do wedding. Thank goodness, because people who work in the wedding, either photographer, video, makeup, it's a hard.
It is stressful.
It is stressful. It is hard work.
Yeah.
But I read about you that you wanted to grow as a leader and mentor in the city of Colorado Springs. So tell me what that looked like for you.
So when I had met this wonderful group of women and so many more too, I was like, I started hearing about these organizations. Like, I did a thing called Leadership Pikes Peak, and it was, I think it was like 11 months. I could be off. Maybe it was more. But it was once a month you went and you learned the full day. You learned about the city, and you learned about how the city operates. You learn about the water. You learn about the electricity, what that looks like for our city, which is not always the same. We have a very different model for electricity and water in Colorado Springs than a lot of other places. We have a court system here. How does that court system work? How does the judicial system work? How does city government work? Who do you call when you have a pothole? A lot of people don't know that, right? So these classes, they teach you these things, and then I get to tell people those things. So, even it seems silly, but I'm doing someone's makeup. They're like, on the way over here, I hit this pothole. This pothole is, it's always doing da 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 da. Oh, this is who you like contact. Don't go this way, go through this person, because this person's going to tell you, because then you're going to waste your time and it's probably never even going to get looked at. But just being able to talk to people and tell them it helps, especially women. I want them to know we have power. We have the ability to, make a change. If I can have this information, how little and minuscule it seems, it can really help someone and change them. And to me, that's kind of like being a leader, is being able to help people in lots of different ways.
Yeah.
And also, I love makeup, but makeup is, I'm in my early, almost mid 40s. And, what am I going to do in 5 years? So what can I do to help the next generation of women and also other makeup artists? I've had interns. I love it. I had the cutest intern this year. She moved, but I loved it. She came from one of the schools and she interned with me. And it was so fun getting to tell her, like, oh, you don't need to do that. You need to do this. That sounds like fun and you should do that. But this is what really is going to help you get to this point. Buy this, don't buy that. This is how you market yourself. Go into industry you want to go into. If I can help lead people down those paths so that they don't waste their time, that to me would be more successful for me than just, being a makeup artist that puts makeup on people.
Yeah. Oh, I love that, Kim. I love that so much. And to finish our episode, my last question for you is, what is your message for all the women out there?
Really look within to find out who you are. Find out, why do you think that's beautiful? Why is that a beauty standard to you? Question things. Question, why do you think this feature is not good enough?
Yeah.
What made you think that? What got you to that conclusion? Because I think if we could understand why we think these things, we'll realize, one, they're false. And we can actually come to the root of why you're so insecure about that, or why you don't like that about yourself. And then if you really don't like it, when you get to that base, the root of it, then you can make that change. But just throwing makeup over the top of it, or, getting, plastic surgery or those things, think about why you're doing it. Again, I'm not judging people for doing it. I just want people to question why. Is this really something I want to do? Am I going to have to keep doing this? Do I really want to keep doing this? Because there's such a peace in not feeling like you're chasing perfection.
I had a conversation yesterday. I recorded with another woman also just beautiful and deep conversation about womanhood and sisterhood. And I knew I was coming to see you today. And it truly, truly like filled my cup and my soul. Like, I'm like you, I'm so lucky to be surrounded by so many women, you know, by knowing so many women, by being inspired. And to you, like, again, I'm going to say it again, that you are the true definition of a sisterhood. I see, you know, I follow you on social media, and I see, you know, different videos that you post, and like with your friend group, you just, like, you are there for each other. And that's one of the pieces of social media that I love, like the real, you know, take the filter, all of that, but just like, you know, spreading the word about different things, and just you guys like always there for each other and support in the community, and just I love it so much. Thank you for being here today. Thank you for this, providing this beautiful space. Kevin, you are the man. Kevin is behind the camera, helping us look pretty and sound good. But I'm so grateful to know you. And I'm so grateful that we finally, I mean, it was like in the talks for like more than a year.
It was
but
like 2 years.
So 2 years, you know, who's counting? But I'm glad we had
It's
this
me.
conversation. It is you. It really is you. It took me almost 2 hours to get here, but you know what? Anything for a good conversation and for support of other women.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you so much, everyone. I hope you enjoyed this amazing conversation. And remember, beauty comes from within. Makeup is fun. And like Kim said, it's if you starting to do it because you have to, not because it's fun, question why. But I'm extremely grateful for all the women I have in my life, for the love and support that they gave me. And I love being a woman. Thank you so much for watching and for listening. And I see you next time. Bye.